Hello. My name is Jen, and welcome to the BCPL installation video. So BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language, predecessor to a lot of modern languages now, like C and C++, created by Martin Richards. So to start with the installation, this installation is for Windows 10 and Windows 11. So to start the installation, you'd want to go to this website, which is the main website, the official website by Martin Richards, to download the BCPL files. So you can either choose any of these BCPL, TGZ, or BCPL zip. For this video, I will be using BCPL.tgz, and you want to install Cygwin as well. And this is the website. All the links will be in the description. So you want to go down to installing Cygwin, and you want to click this, and it'll download. The setup exe will be downloaded. So the downloads will look like this. I downloaded both, but we're still gonna use that .tgz. So first you want to install Cygwin. So you double click that, and you go to the installation wizard. So you want to install from the internet, and I want you to make sure to make this and so make sure that you don't change this. This is you don't really need to change this. I recommend just keeping it. So I recommend keeping the root directory just the default, mainly because you might encounter some problems. You put it in a different hard drive or SSD. So you want to click next, and this you can change anywhere you want. This is basically the local package directory where all the packages will be installed in the caches. You can put this in a different drive if you like. Doesn't matter much, but you should choose anywhere that you know where to go to in case you need to delete it. You click next, and you just leave this as is. And before installing, it will ask you which available download sites do you want to download Cygwin from. So I recommend just choosing any of these. Actually, it really just doesn't really matter. I haven't tried every single site, but the one that's been working for me is the Fort site. But I don't think it matters that much. But for this example, we're gonna use the Fort site. Then you click next, and before it installs, it will open a window, which I think might. Okay, so we're good. So this is the window that opens, and basically this window will show all the packages that you want to install with Cygwin as Cygwin installs. So the packages that you want for BCPL to work is, first you need to install make, and you want to say the latest one. I recommend choosing the latest one for each package, and you want GCC core, and you want the latest one that's not test. And lastly, SDL. Now, SDL, I recommend just choosing SDL library, SDL development, and library SDL 1.2, as well as the SDL2 development and SDL2. These four, basically, I recommend installing these four. So after you have set all of that up, you just click next, and it will install. It will show you all the things that it's gonna get installed with Cygwin and Cygwin itself. So just click next, and then you wait. Now this will take time depending on your internet speed, so I recommend just leaving your PC as is while you wait for the installation. I'll be back once the installation is done. And we're back. So this is what you'll get when the installation is done. You can either, this is up to you if you're whether or not you want to create a desktop icon or a start menu icon, but I recommend creating a icon on the desktop at least. So you click finish, and once that's done, you go to your desktop and you'll find it right here. Okay, installed from bottom top left. It's installed somewhere on the left side of your desktop, depending on how many icons you have. Alright, so Cygwin, this is the terminal that you need. So if you double click that, it'll basically open this up right here. I recommend opening it once at least before continuing with anything. So after that you've opened it once, you can go ahead and close it. Now what you want to do is you go to properties and you go to open file location. So it will take you over here, which will take you to the binaries. Now you go one folder before that and it will take you to the main Cygwin file, which is in your local disk as it was in the installation. So once you're here, you will this is where we can start installing BCPL. So before we can continue with that, let's go back to these two files right here. Now we want to extract this file specifically, or the zip file, whichever you'd like. But for this one, for this example, and if you want to follow this example, I recommend you follow by extracting the TGZ file instead of the zip file. So so inside this archive is the BCPL folder. So you can just right click and click extract here. Now this is very important because this is where most people will find problems. This is where most of the problems in installing BCPL stem from. Specifically the SDLC flags.txt. That there are two files inside the archive. I can show it right here. So in BCPL synth code, and if you scroll right down in the SDLC flags, there are two files. This one, two files of, well, basically the same name, one of which has no text on it and the other has text on it, which is very important code that we want to keep. So if you're in a hurry, you might have just click yes to this, which means it will overwrite the file with a file with no information. So I implore you to click no, so it won't overwrite that. Now you get another one. Now this one doesn't really matter because this is just a dump file, so you can say yes to this or no to this. It doesn't matter. For now I'm just gonna click yes to that one, but it won't change much. So once it's extracted, you'll get this file, this folder over here. Now what you want to do is you want to right click, or you just want to Control X, and you want to move that to your Cygwin. So since we've opened the terminal once, it will generate a home folder. So you're in Cygwin right now and you want to go to home. Click this, and this will be very different depending on what your computer is named. Mine's just happened to be called Epic Gamer because that's what I am. So what you want to do, just double click that, go in, and so what you want to do is make a new folder and call it distribution. Okay, that's spelled properly. So once you created that, you go in that folder, and then this is where you cut paste, Control V. This is where you'll paste your BCPL folder. Now the moving, it takes time because it is in a totally different drive. It's from the K drive to the C drive. It might not be the same for you if you're only using one drive for your computer. So once it's fully moved, give it a few more seconds. Okay, once it's fully moved, you want to go double click this. So when you install BCPL initially, you will find like readmes and a lot of documentation of how to install it. but sometimes it can get confusing. That's what this whole video is for, to make sense of it. So what you want to do, so you go to the installation.txt file. Now you want to go scroll all the way down to the BCPL section of it. So once you scroll all the way down, you'll find over here under Cygwin. This is where you want all of this up here. It doesn't matter, just anything under this part right here is what you want. So what you want to do is you want to go copy all of this up until over here. Control C, copy all of that, and then you want to go to your Cygwin and go all the way back. I'm gonna go all the way back to Cygwin 64. Again, it's in your, most likely in your C drive, your main C drive. It's in there, and you want to go to cygwin.bat. This is where you want to run Cygwin from now on in cygwin.bat. So first, I recommend using Visual Studio Code. I'm sure you can find how to install it somewhere. I won't go through how to install Visual Studio Code. I assume you already have Visual Studio Code, but if you don't, there's other tutorials out there to teach you how to install it. So you right click and open with code. You can also use any text editor that you want to use. It's up to you, doesn't really matter, as long as you're able to edit the code or the text inside the cygwin.bat file. So you want to paste all of that there. Now once you paste all of it, don't leave just yet. You need to edit certain things because is in a different computer. Your computer is probably not called MR10, which I assume this just means Martin Richards. So you want to change this to the name of your home, which if we double check again, for me it's Epic Gamer, but for you it could be a whole different thing. So I'm gonna write Epic Gamer for every instance of MR10. So this is one right here as well. And before you continue, you also want to change every instance of Cygwin into Cygwin 64, because Cygwin is not just called Cygwin, it's called Cygwin 64 if you're in a 64-bit computer. So once this is all set up, you Control S, click Save, and you can go and try opening it. Let's test it. Let's go to Cygwin 64 and let's click .bat. And it says here initializing syncode BCPL environment. That's exactly what the first code is. And so to test that your environmental variables have been set, you just click echo and you write $sign and the name of the environmental variable. So in this case I wrote $home, and home is set to /home and / the name of your computer, Epic Gamer. So you want to keep testing it just to make sure. Let's just keep testing it. BCPL root. Oh, sorry, forgot to add the $sign. And there you go. It's all showed. So it's doing well. All the environmental variables, assumingly, is correct. Now we're gonna close this again because we're not done yet. We still need to set up the make file inside of our BCPL folder. So you want to go to your BCPL and you want to go to syncode, and when you're there you want to go scroll down, or you can just click M on your keyboard until you find this file called the make file. Now you want to right click that and you want to go open with code. Again, we're using Visual Studio Code here. You can still use any text editor you want, but this is the most convenient text editor to use. Now one thing that you want to change here, because we are not on a Linux system, we want to run this on Cygwin instead of Linux, what you want to do is you want to comment out this specific, and this detail has been mentioned in the README file in the documentation of this folder, the BCPL folder. So you want to comment this out, and then you want to scroll down and go to the mention of Cygwin right here. It says Cygwin, and you want to uncomment that. So again, to recap, we changed the variable. Instead of this, we change it to this by just changing the comments. You want the one that mentioned Cygwin, and this is the only time everything here that it's mentioned Cygwin. Now once the CC has been set up, you can just click Control S, and it will be it's all you need to do for this file. You can close that, and you can go back to Cygwin right here. Let's go back to Cygwin 64 over here, and let's go open the bat again. Okay, now we want to go to that directory specifically. So to get to the BCPL folder, the directory that we want to go to is inside Home, Epic Gamer, Distribution, BCPL, and Synth Code. This is the directory we want to be in. This is the directory we want to be in. So you can navigate from this terminal. So you click CD, click space, and you can click Tab. You can click it a few times, and it will show you what the other folders is. Now you can see here that we are already inside the Home. We're already inside the Epic Gamer directory. That's the same thing. Distribution, profile, bash profile, it's all there. And you want to go to distribution. So CD, distribution, and you can click Tab to autofill. You click Enter, and we're in distribution. Now what else is in this? So then after that, we want to go to BCPL, because after distribution is BCPL. So CD, BCPL. Now we're in BCPL. We want to go to Synth Code. So CD, Synth Code. And now that we're here in the same folder where the make file is, that's the same folder where the make file is. All you have to type here, and remember we installed the make package, so all you have to write here is make. Now when you click enter, this will basically create a exe that you can run BCPL in, and it will make that exe all the way over here in binaries, the very top bin. So assumingly these other exe doesn't work anymore. That's why you need to do all of this to create a new exe that works for your system. So you just do that. You write make once you're inside the directory, and once you did all the setup that we did there, once we click make, this hopefully will create that exe. If we don't worry if you find any errors. There's always a way around those errors. So if we find any errors here, we'll see how we can go through it and make it work. So click enter, and it will start making the exe. So if this all goes well, this will all go smoothly without any errors. But it's fine if there's errors. It's always gonna be trial and error in a lot of aspects. As you can see here, we have errors. So it says here that it lacks the cat a sound dot text. Now this means that we're missing a package, and this is one of the errors that you can encounter. So if I remember correctly, let's go to that file specifically. cat, this is a command basically to open the file. And if you go to a sound right here, Basically, this is LA Sound. Now, if I remember correctly, this is not this is not needed for the BCPL to run. Now, if I am correct, I can simply get rid of this. I'm just gonna cut paste it. I'm gonna get rid of this temporarily, and we're gonna run this code again. See what happens. But before we do that, actually, what you want to do is make clean. I'm gonna do it all over again. You want to clear all of everything. I'm gonna clear everything and try to reinstall BCPL again. So make clean, clear everything, and then you write make again. So let's run everything again, see if it worked. Let's give it time. I apologize for my English, it's not my first language. And okay, still having a problem for, oh, here he is, found it. So the problem here is not a sound specifically, it is this command specifically, lglu. This can be fixed. All you need to do is to go and reinstall that package. Now, so if you found problems like this where it can't find a file in the directory, it means it's missing a package. Now, in order to fix that, you want to go back to the setup for Cygwin, double click that, and this won't reinstall Cygwin, this will only reinstall the package. So you have to just go through the same thing, the same process, and this won't reinstall Cygwin. This won't take as long as the initial installation because we're only installing the package. Now you want to go install GLU specifically. Here we go, library GLU devil. And what else does it want? I think just GLU, library GLU specifically. Okay, so we're gonna go install that, as well as other mentions of GLU, just to be sure. We're not gonna install that one. Okay, so once that is installed, you can click next, you can install all of that, give it time. This probably won't take as long as the initial installation. As you can see, already at 82%. And we're done. Okay, click finish, and we can run this again. So once again, let's do make clean, and then run make. Okay, it's running it's going smoothly, and there it is. There we go. And it is generating the exe. So just wait for all of this code to finish, and once it's done, there's only one more command that you can go through to finish all of this. Just give it time. Okay, now last command that you want to do, and I actually forgot what the command was, so we're gonna go to the documentation to check what the command was. And the documentation I'm talking about is located inside the makefile. So you want to open Visual Code as well. Studio Code. It should be somewhere here. C compile all. C compile all. So C comp all. Do that, and once it's all done, then congratulations, you've installed BCPL. Your laptop or computer is probably the only device that can run BCPL in the next few gajillion miles or your entire campus. So Now you have working BCPL. Now to run the BCPL code, it shouldn't be. It takes a few more steps to run BCPL code. Oh wait, I have to show you how to open this again. So now that you've generated the exe, you can go to synth code, and you go to binaries, and you find it over here, synth system.exe. So how to run that again? So we can just close this. Let's do it again. Close this. Go to Cygwin. Open that bat file as well again, and then. So in order to run BCPL, you want to go back to your directory. Go to the binaries directory specifically. So open distribution, and BCPL, then synth code, then bin. Okay, that's where you want to go, and this is where it is basically here in bin. Oops, wrong one, my bad. Here in bin, and what you want to do is you just write synth sys, and it will run that exe, which will then run BCPL. Where you're able to run BCPL code basically. Synth code is the implementation for BCPL. Okay, now that you have this, how do I run BCPL? Now the instructions can be found in documentation somewhere in notes right here in this one, and let me go through it for a little bit to refresh my memory on how to actually do this. Okay, so a lot of sample BCPL code can be found in COM right here, and all of this is sample BCPL code. Now a good sample of it is here located in cd dot. We're gonna go back a folder, and no, we're not gonna do cd, I'm sorry, type dot. We're gonna go back a folder, and basically we're in, so basically we start from binaries, we go back, and then we're here, and then we go inside com. So com/fact. Now this over here, fact.b, sorry. So this code over here, if you go to that, fact.b, there it is, fact.b, this code, this is what it would show. This is the code. Get the library, and this is the code. Let's start, value of 4i. So this is basically a basic recursive factorial for numbers from 1 to 5. So what happens if we write the command type and the directory, the file that we want to type, it will just show what is inside this file. Just basically types the code. It's like echo, but for BCPL. So I want to run this code. So you want to run this code. How do we do that? So what you want to do is you want to write BCPL, and then you write the directory again, or where that code was located, and then you write 2, and then you write the name of the compile file that you want to store you want to store all the compiled code in. So basically this command here will take all of this code, compile it in a file, and when you run that file, it will run everything that was inside that code. So basically this is just to make a file. This is not to run all of this code yet. This is just to compile it. So once we click enter right there, it will create the file. You saw that right there, right here. It will create the file. You can name it anywhere, any name you like. We're just gonna call it fact because it's also called fact. Its source code is also just called fact.b. Now once you had fact and you want to run that code, now all you have to do is just write the name of the compiled file, which is fact. Just click enter and it will run the code right here. And so factorial of 1 is 1, all the way all up to 5. Factorial of 5 is 120. 20. And that's basically how you compile and run code for BCPL. Now now if you want to make a BCPL, if you want to code some BCPL, I'm gonna leave that up to you in learning the syntax. All the information should be in the main website for Martin Richards, by Martin Richards, and for him. You'll find all the documentations there on how to write BCPL code. But if you want to just start writing any BCPL code, you can just create a new text file and start writing any BCPL code you like. And then when you save it, just make sure that you save it, put it on all files, and the name of it, and then .b. And once you save it, you can go use the terminal again to compile that. Again, the compilation this is how you compile it. Instead of fact.b, it would be name.b, and then and any compile file name that you like. And then you run it by writing that name again on the terminal. So that's how you basically program. The most basic, bare minimum way of programming in BCPL. So, if there are any questions or complications in your end, just leave a comment, and I'll see if I can help in any way within my power. Thank you for watching.